want to illustrate a frustration, let's call it, I've had trying to use the ipywidgets interact functionality together with matplotlib in a Jupyter notebook. So this shows a super simple plot. I'm going to plot a power law, and I want to use a slider to update the power of that power law. It's 100 points. It's not a particularly complicated thing. And but the problem that we're about to see is that, of course, matplotlib has about some 100 milliseconds or longer update time, which is pretty slow for very interactive stuff, which is why ideally I might want to use a different library, but maybe let's say I don't, in this case, need video rate updates of my plot, and I'd be happy with 100 millisecond delays between sliding the thing and having the plot update. Now, the problem though is that when I use this with the interact function, interact will basically queue up a huge number of updates propagating down to matplotlib, and matplotlib will fall really horribly behind. And what I'm looking for is some sort of debounce like solution that will allow me to solve this. I've actually tried some of the debounce solutions from the ipywidgets page, but I cannot seem to get them to work in such a simple piece of code like this. Basically, what is the simplest little piece of code I can add to this to allow me to call this interact function and have it debounce, aka drop all of the requests except for the last one and say the last 100 milliseconds. So let's take a look but to illustrate the problem. So this is now power law. Now if I click, it updates pretty quickly, that's fine. If I go slowly, it's not too bad. It takes to be a bit patient for it to reach the new interacted value. But now the problem is if I have some impatient student or something that is going to want to fiddle with this, or I'm also impatient, I want to just fiddle with this as much as I can, then I can super easily in a couple of seconds build up such a queue of propagating updates to matplotlib that this plot will not reach the value I'm actually at for some 30 seconds or so. And that is something that is really quite super mega annoying, which makes this interaction functionality more or less useless with matplotlib. So my question is now, what can I do? The simplest piece of code I can add to just instruct ipywidgets not to propagate, to only propagate the last interaction point of the last 100 milliseconds to the update function. I think if I could do that somehow, that would solve all of my problems.